good, yo. How you doing, yo?
I
Giggling
am.
already. We just started.
Listen. I see you got the drink over there. I should have had my drink. I should have been prepared. But you know what? I got you. We're gonna do a part two.
Okay. All right, all right.
So, for those who don't know, my name is SHANASHAYNE, aka the Travel Morena, and my podcast is called So What's Your Story? So basically, I dive deep. We connect with the food, the culture, and the roots of different people, many celebrities up in here. We got Radio Shack. Woo!
Uh, You need a sound effect there.
Yeah.
I'm mad you called me a mini celebrity. I ain't no type of celebrity, yo. I am just regular old me. That's it, yo.
Wagwan, what's up,
Along,
man?
yo. What up, though? What's the word, man? Appreciate you bringing me on. You know what I mean?
No problem. Thank you for coming on. So, I want you to briefly introduce yourself. Who are you and what you got going on right now?
Who am I? Who am I? The girl, them sugar? No, I'm playing. Um, Meeshach Stennett, proud alumnus of Delaware State University, originally from the Bronx, New York, grew up
Okay.
with just my moms. I got both my parents are Jamaican. You might not be able to tell by looking at all this light skinnedness, but both my parents are Jamaican. I grew up in the Bronx with just my moms, like so many other fatherless, I call it the fatherless generation.
Mm.
Grew up like that during the crack era, went through all, can I curse in that on his? Is everything
Yes,
cool?
you
All right, I
can.
went through all types of shit growing up. Not on no like being bad and I was in the streets, cats, I'm from the mud. Nah, just being in the mix. You know what I'm saying? Just being
Hmm.
outside in the Bronx, it was hard to just stay completely without getting dirt on you and all that. So I did that, found out about HBCUs and came down to Del State. Um, After graduating Del State, I worked in corporate America as an accountant, but I was always still doing my thing, like in terms of marketing and promotions and things like that. Then I finally left corporate America back in 2019. I started my own business, Minds Brand Management. And I just been out in these streets grinding and hustling. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So I mean, like right now, I've gone from like social media management to like right now, I am the brand ambassador for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Delaware and hosting mad events and
And
just
congrats on that.
thank you. I appreciate it, yo.
Yeah. So let's get deep into it. So, you said you grew up in a single parent home. Was
Correct.
your was Where was your father?
My father is in Jamaica. So I never remember growing up with him, but I guess from the way the story is, he was in America just for a little while when I was first born, but got deported back to Jamaica for whatever reason, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? So I just grew up with me and Mom Dukes in the
Okay.
BX, but I was blessed. My mom's is super strong.
Yeah, that's a blessing. So did y'all stay connected or he was
Yeah,
cool?
we did. So I would go to first off, I'm the first one born. Um, I'm the first one born in America out my family.
Okay.
So it wasn't so although we was living here, my family still was like crazy strong Jamaican roots, meaning like when I was a kid, I didn't go down south. They would send me to Jamaica for the summer. So I
Oh
would go
wow.
spend like summers in Jamaica and I would be over there. Um, but what happened was whenever I would go with like my moms or whatever, from when I could remember, now as I'm getting older, whenever we
Mm.
went, we would go and visit my pops and even stay with my pops at times. You know what I'm saying? So honestly, my mom's wasn't the type to be on some old like, yo, your father ain't shit. He left us and all of that. So that really didn't, I never had that negative perspective of it. Like I didn't realize I didn't have a pops until it was times to have a pops, right? Like when cats
Teenage years.
basketball games and shit, or your pops, and you got to call somebody, and you know what I'm saying. I just have to call my Jamaican moms, and she would just wild out. Um, it hit reality hit for me the Fresh Prince episode where he was like, "Oh, well, my father don't love me."
Yeah,
And
he
I was
broke
sitting
down
there
on
like,
that one.
holy shit, bro. Like, why my pops don't love me? You know what I'm saying? And before that, because my mom's was doing such a good job, I wasn't thinking about it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But the reality is he wasn't there. But if I could take a step back, he gave me my name, right? So those that don't know, Meeshach,
You're a junior?
hell no.
Oh.
Hell no.
Hell no.
This is
Okay.
the first, like, have you ever met another Meeshach?
No,
Do you know the story from the Bible?
no. I need you
Okay.
to
So
enlighten.
this is the story, the book of Daniel. In the book of Daniel, the story goes that King Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, like one of the most powerful kings through the Bible, he told everybody that at a certain point of the day, they was gonna like blow trumpets and play music. And when that happens, everybody had to bow down and worship this false god, a false idol, right? They had like the big gold
Mhm.
statue in Babylon. You had to bend down and worship it. And he had these three wise men called Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They was friends with Daniel. And the crazy thing is, that's my middle name, right? So from the book of Daniel, and my father is a Rastafarian. So for those that know, like Rastafarians, they not Catholics, but they read the Bible and everything else because they try to get their different bits and pieces. So he named me after that. And in the Bible, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was like, yo, we not bowing down to nobody. You understand? So you can play whatever music you want. We ain't with it. And the king Nebuchadnezzar was like, okay, we're going to throw you into the fiery furnace. And he threw all three of them into the fiery furnace. And all you see is the three shadows. So he like, yo, turn the heat up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not spicy enough. Throw some more, turn the heat up. They make the furnace hotter and everybody around the furnace dies. And now you see four shadows in the fire. And he says, walk out. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego walked out unscathed, unburned. And King Nebuchadnezzar said, blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And that's how the story goes in the Bible. And for so many years, when I was a kid, I hated that name, yo. Like even the whole
Powerful
radio,
name though.
it's powerful now. It wasn't powerful in the 80s in the Bronx, being
Yeah,
light
they
with
was
big
ranking
lips
on
and
you.
freckles, talking about you Jamaican with a name Meeshach. That shit wasn't powerful then. It was mad jokes. Like even
Okay.
to the point where my name right now on Instagram, Radio Shack, that's just one of the jokes.
Mm.
People used to call me back then, right? So when I got on IG and I was looking for a name, Meeshach was already taken. So I couldn't use Meeshach. So I went in and started just thinking of other stuff. And that's one of the ones they used to call me everything. Horseshack. You don't know about Horseshack. You're too young for Horseshack. There was a show called Welcome Back Kotter, and there was a dude named Horseshack. They would call me that, Meat Rack, Radio Shack. I mean, it was all types of names. So the
So
thing
you
about
ran with
that
it.
is, huh?
So you ran with it.
I ran with the Radio Shack now. I
Mhm.
didn't run with the Meeshach. Like, honestly, I didn't even like to be called Meeshach. Like,
So
it
what
was
did
just
they call
always
you when you
Shaq.
grew up?
Shaq. I was always Shaq. Right on the block, like, and you already know a different name. Cats like, man, I ain't trying to figure that shit out. I'm just gonna call him Shaq. That's it. So I was always Shaq before Shaquille, whatever. As long as I could remember being outside, I was Shaq, Shaq, Shaq. And that's how I want everybody to call me. So when you walked up to me like, yo, Meeshach, Meeshach, I was like, yo, who? And even my mom's, I used to be like, yo, don't be calling my name out the window, yo. Stop screaming out my government, yo.
I know you better not have been talking to moms like that.
Oh no, I wasn't. I definitely got the curry chicken slap. I would have got the curry chicken slap down. So I didn't like it then, right? But what made me um fall in love with my name and the power behind it is when I started going through all of these different experiences in life. And it was experiences that I should have been burnt to a crisp.
Mm.
And I was walking out completely unscathed, just like the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And that's when I was like, you know what? My name has meaning, right? Like it wasn't just a name. The universe gave me that name. And not only that, it's protected me. So I actually asked my father maybe like a year ago, because, you know, with us being like, I don't be having deep conversations with him and all that. Like a lot of the stuff I know about him, I know my wife asked, You know what I'm saying? It's not like I was like, yo, who was this and who was you? No, I'm not on that time. And you wasn't around, so I don't feel like it was necessary for me to get all of that. But I did ask him because so I have other brothers and sisters. So Rastafarians, they spread their oats, yo.
I
You know
meant
what
to
I
ask,
mean?
I meant to ask you earlier, how many siblings do you have, or do you know
It
of?
was, I know of five by five women. So I was the last one. It was like, you know what, I think I was the last one. You know what I mean? You can never tell. But I was the last one, and I asked him. So all like my other brothers got regular names,
Yeah.
right? They're all from the Bible, like Mark, Michael, Michelle, all that, but they're all regular. So I'm like, yo, bro, why did you set me up? And
Mm.
he was like, because I knew you was gonna grow up in Babylon. That's what Jamaicans call like the government, America, shit like. I knew he was gonna grow up in Babylon in the fire, and I felt like the name would protect you. And you know what? If that's the only thing he ever gave me, he gave me something dope. So I'm happy for it.
Shout out the pops for that.
Trevor.
So, have you tried to like reach out to your siblings?
I did. So I am in contact with, I'm close with one, with Mark. I reached out to the other ones. Some of them ain't want to get back in touch. And once again, you know, guys, like, I ain't gonna keep reaching out to nobody. You know what I'm saying? If I try to, yo, what's up, like this, if you don't want to get up, then I'm good. Right? I went my whole life not knowing. So the one that I am cool with, the way that we connected was my mother was in Brooklyn back in like the 80s. Like I was a teenager then. So I maybe been like 13, 14, something like that. My
He's
mom,
showing his age.
I am definitely the late 1900s. I'm proud to be alive still, yo. When you seen the shit that I've seen, I'm proud.
That's
I
right.
did my shit with pride. I will be 50 next year. I'm not ashamed to say it, yo.
That's right.
But my mom's was in this lady's house and sees like the pictures on the table, and she says to the lady, "How you got a picture of my son?" And the lady's like, "That's not your son. You tripping." And my mother's like, "That's my son, yo. How do you have a picture of my son?" And the lady was like, "That's Mark." And when she said it, then my mother was like, "What's his last name?" And when she said Stennett, she was like, "Yo, that's my son's brother." So
Wow.
that's how I met my brother, like that way. And then we got connected. And from him, then I tried to meet the other ones, but it didn't work out. I met my sister, she was cool. But you know, when you old and you come up, man, it's not like you really looking for much. Like if I grew up not looking for pops, I definitely wasn't growing up looking for brothers and sisters. And plus, I got cousins like in the Bronx. We grew up in a house. It was like a 3-family home. So I
Yeah.
grew up with people as like my brothers and sisters.
Okay. So let's get into your family. How many kids do you have?
I got 16 children on play.
Like,
Okay.
damn.
I have 3 children. I got 3 children. Um, Meeshach. So there's another Meeshach out here in these streets.
Ooh,
Meeshach, Malia, and Marley.
got you. And
One boy
how?
and 2 girls.
What's their age gaps?
24, 21, and 15. The girls are 21 and 15. And
Okay.
that is within itself a struggle. Like raising girls and all of that stuff it
Yeah,
has
'cause
changed
we're
my
high
perspective.
maintenance. Like,
Listen, man, they the reasons I stopped. I said I ain't having no more damn girls, you know.
so, you growing up, single parent family, it was just you in the house, right, as a kid?
Yep.
All right. So were you spoiled? Like, did you grow up like impoverished? Like, was it a struggle growing up? Middle class? I call it the worst poverty is when you right on that borderline where you don't get assistance. Like,
Yeah.
tell me about your upbringing.
My upbringing, I would say, well, we was in the hood, but so once again, like Jamaicans, they come and they hustle, yo. Right? So like my grandmother and my grandmother came over first, and my grandfather came through, and they worked, and within a few years they had bought a home. So I grew up in a home, right? In a home, but my home was right next to a big ass building. right? So that's how it is in the Bronx, right? So we grew up in a home, so I did have money. Like we had cars and stuff. We had stuff that other people on the block didn't have, right? Now, with me being a single child and just my mom's, this little cute light-skinned baby, she had no choice but to spoil me, excuse me. So to a certain extent, I was spoiled in terms of I didn't know what it was not to have. Even if she had to make sacrifices and struggle, like it was never like, oh, there was a pair of sneakers or whatever, and I ain't have them. You know what I'm saying? And or I wanted to go play football, and she's like, ah, nah. She would take me to get my equipment, take me to practices, whatever it need to be. So, and I went to Catholic school the whole time. So with that being said, too, that within it said I couldn't have been like, bucket of the barrel because that cost to do 12 years. And the Catholic high school that I went to was one of the most prestigious high schools in New York City, Mount St. Michael Academy. So
Go
I know,
mom, go mom.
what I'm saying? That ticket was serious. But she always held her head, like she always was working. So when I was in high school, my mother went back to college. So the hospital that she was working for, they was like, yo, we see how you get down. We're going to give you a scholarship, a living expense, and we're going to pay for you to become a registered nurse. So like even those times, even with us, bless you, even with us, I guess, quote unquote, struggling, she wasn't letting me see that. You understand? I still had everything I needed. I was still moving and shaking. And but in terms of spoil, like I want this and do this. Nah, I wasn't that. She wasn't having that. And I wasn't really that
Got
type
what
of
you need.
kid. You know what I'm saying? I was the type where if I really want something, I would go out and get it. I would find a way to hustle.
So question. You said that your mom was always working. So did that mean that you were home alone?
Yeah, man. So
So you
by
know,
I was home alone, you know what I'm saying? And it makes you grow up faster, right? But it was like, and once again, we are keeping it a G. First of all, I don't even know no other way to be, right? I'll never forget when my mom's found out that I was having sex, right? I was young, I was 14, she found out. And
not in the house.
some moms might be like, yo, nah, you ain't doing this, and blah, blah, blah. I think the mindset that she might have had was like, yo, I'm trying to raise a young lion in this jungle. Like, and she was a lioness, but you still got to let a lion be who he is. And I think that some things she was just like, yo, I'm going to give him enough leash to let him figure out himself. But she had had already poured so much into me in terms of my character, right? My values and integrity that when she was kind of like, I could kind of let him go and see what he was doing. So now back to the whole girl thing, when she found out I was sexually active and all that, as opposed to being like, you can't do this and running down and no, she was like, yo, listen, I don't want you, sneaking up in some girl's crib or whatever, and then her pop's coming home, you know what I'm saying, or a boyfriend or something, and you having a problem. So as long as you do it respectfully, you know what I'm saying, you can have company in the crib. So from like 15 years old, I got shorties in the crib and I'm going on dates and
Oh.
all of that. And you might think like, oh, well, you letting them wild out, but I ain't have no kids, right? Around my way, everybody started having kids at 16 years old, right? So in high school, if you look at my high school graduation picture, quite a few of my friends is holding babies, but that wasn't me. Right. So giving me that freedom, did it backfire? Like I was out there wilding and just shooting everybody club up and you coming home and it's the Diddy party in there. I'm sorry. He,
We won't use Diddy on this channel.
he went to my high school too, man. It's crazy, sir. But yeah, so she kind of just let me like in New York City, you didn't get to drive to like 18 years old to get your license, right? By 16, when I got my permit, she like took me out to try to drive the first time. And it was just too much for her. And from then she was like, yo, all right, you can learn to drive yourself. Like I was out with my friends driving and doing all that. So a lot of the same things you see now in terms of the way that I move and I get down is because I've been moving and getting down from a young age. Not on some, I'm out there hustling and grinding, but I just always been in the mix. I've always been active and I've always kind of just been out there navigating it. And she's a big reason, because if she would have been on some super strict, you're not gonna do this, and these
You would have been rebellious.
all of that, it would have been a rebellion. And then we talking about the running aways and all of that. And now I got a baby mama, you know what I'm saying, at my graduation, all that. But I really am thankful and blessed that she recognized, first off, yo, because from a young age, I've never been the type to, you're just gonna say whatever. Oh, the sky is purple. I don't care if you a teacher, the Pope, I don't care who you are. I'm like, the sky ain't purple.
Right.
So I've always been the person to communicate. I've always been a talker from a super young age. So she was just like, I ain't gonna lock this dude down, so I might as well work with him. Like, put him on work release, yo. Like, don't just lock him up, yo. So yeah.
So, do you see yourself in any of your kids? Like
All
anything
of them.
like anyone in particular, like you like, oh my gosh, here
The
we
last
go.
one right here. The last one right here, Marley. We should have known when we named her Marley that she was gonna be a rebel. You understand what I'm saying? And she is very much like me in terms of in the mix. You know what I'm saying? Popular. She goes somewhere. She gonna have friends in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? And she reminds me the most. But my other daughter has a lot of my traits as well, like the entrepreneurial one. She's a senior at Del State right now. She switched to be an accountant major as well. She started her own when she turned 18, and we asked her what she wanted. She wanted money to get her license to do like lashes, like, you understand? So
dope.
she was.
Did she do her own ear piercing? Is that the one?
Oh no, that's the youngest one. So.
Okay, that's the young. Okay.
Totally
Yeah,
unlicensed.
I met her.
Professional. I can't, yo.
She did a good job. She did a good job.
Get the hell out of here. You can't be just piercing stuff on your own. I popped up one day like, yo, what is that? Cass is like, what? Like, you got shit sticking all out your ears and noses. What are you talking about? So yeah, man, but it's a blessing. I love it.
Yeah,
It'd
for
be
sure.
super struggles at the time, but I think that, and I try to tell them, because they be, yo, if you eat steak every day, right? If when you grew up, every day in your house, they was feeding you steak and potatoes and lobster and shit like that, right? When you got older and all that, you would not value that as being like top shit. You'd be like, for me, this is regular.
Yeah, that's regular.
You know what I'm saying? This ain't nothing, right? So I think that when you give children so much and you try to keep them a certain way, it just becomes expected, entitled, whatever. And it's not just my kids. I've seen a lot of kids. When you come up, and for me, I didn't come up with a pops. So I try to be extra pops. And sometimes that could backfire, especially with girls. That's too much in their business. You want to know too much. But my whole thing is, man, I'd rather communicate with my kids and be upfront with them, for them to know that they could come and talk to their pops. Like, it's different. When I was young, if you saw a dude that was about to be 50 years old, son looked like Morgan Freeman out here. You understand? Like, I'm about to be 50 and I can still move and shake and I can still be relevant. And her friends be like, is that your dad hosting HBCU week and stuff like that? And they'd be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's a blessing and I love it. I wouldn't trade it for nothing, but it is hard as hell.
So listen, you said you was in the house a lot by yourself. So did you learn how to cook while your mom was away, or she already taught you?
She taught me too. So she taught me stuff because after a certain point, she would go away. And let me explain something, yo. Because when I first started saying that, like, yo, my moms would go away for like a week sometimes when I was in high school and just leave me with money and food and all of that, people be like, the hell type of child abandonment is that? But do you know what it takes for a single parent to never get a break? To be raising a kid while you still in your prime and you want to be moving and shaking and all of that? She felt comfortable enough to know that I've raised him and I've given him these values, that he ain't gonna burn down the damn house when I'm gone. And so by like my junior year of high school, I'm pulling up to high school in my mom's car. Like, nah, y'all could all come back to my crib. We cool. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't teach me to wild out. It taught me to actually be more responsible because I didn't want to lose those privileges. I was the only kid on it was one other dude that was driving a car. Like, I was the only cat that could be like, nah, we gonna go to Harlem. I didn't want to mess that up. So therefore, I treated it the right way. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay. So give me some of your favorite Jamaican dishes.
I made curry chicken. That's up there right now. I think that is like you have to be able to cook that. A lot of Jamaican men are actually the chefs in their family. Like, a lot of Jamaican men are cooks. So I knew like a lot of my uncles would be the one to cook, but I don't make a lot of Jamaican dishes. I just make food because my kids are so damn picky too. You know what I'm saying? But I could definitely make a mean curry chicken. Of course, my jerk chicken wings is good. But I don't do like the whole like rice and peas and go all over the top like my mom's and them does. Like, there's a
Okay.
certain extent. You know what I mean? But I could definitely cook. You're not gonna be mad. You're not gonna eat my food and be like, yo, hell no.
Okay, so you representing well,
Oh
right?
yes, 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 definitely.
Okay. And I already know you've been to Jamaica before. How many times have you been?
Definitely can't count. I
There
mean,
you go.
even before I was old enough to remember, I was going like, I got a scar on my lip. I got that when I was 3 years old, running around my cousins, and my lip got caught in a barbed wire fence and it ripped
Mm.
it. And in Jamaica, they took me to my grandmother. My grandmother's like, yo, man, here you go, baby. She kissed me saying, if I was in America, they just sent me right to get stitches. I ain't never getting no stitches or nothing. So I can't remember how many times, but I know we go at least every year to every other year because also it's something that I want my children to experience.
Right.
So we try to go over there as much as we can. The first time I took my wife was our honeymoon 24 years ago, and they tried to rob us and damn near almost killed us out there. Like, if I didn't know Jamaican, if I didn't know patois and didn't
Uh-huh.
know what they were saying, because I was already on, by the time I saw what was going down, I already knew it was too late. Like, there was no escaping. We was in a little ass alley, right? We was in a little ass alley, right, in the shopping center. Now, just us, we separated from everybody else, and the dudes is pressing us like, no, you gonna buy this, you gonna buy this. And I'm like, I ain't buying
Right.
shit, right? And then he starts saying in patois, like, to go get his crew and all that. So now I know what's happening. So I'm telling my wife, like, yo, be easy, we're gonna get out of this, whatever, whatever. I saw like a cutlass, y'all call it a machete.
Mhm.
Like, I saw them selling the cutlass. I threw the lady some money and had to grab the cutlass, and like, it was on some life and death shit. And if it wasn't for the fact that I had been going there so many times that I was Jamaican, they didn't know that, right? And I knew everything that they were saying. We'd have been asked out. And that same weekend that we was there, a couple went missing and was never found. So it goes back to the whole Meeshach thing. I've been in mad fires that we weren't supposed to walk out of that right there. We walked out with everything. The only thing I lost was the $50 I gave to the lady to get the cutlass.
Now,
That
what
was
part of
it.
town was that?
It was actually in Ocho Rios, which is down further from like Montego Bay, and it was in like their little shopping area shit too. It's just that we got separated. Like, I wasn't on my job when I realized it was happening. It was late in the game. Like, oh shit, where's everybody else? But that's just another one of those fires. I've been through enough, a lot.
That's
Like,
wild.
I was a victim of gun violence at 15 years old. I got shot when I was 15 years old, right? And when we went and we
In the
went
Bronx?
in the Bronx, and when we went to the hospital, my mom's was, in an uproar and wilding, and she said to the doctor, "Oh, this is the worst day of my life." And the doctor said it's actually the luckiest because if it would have gone 2 inches lower, it would have hit my belly button. And if you get hit in your lifeline, like, that's your lifeline, it's over for you. So it's just another example, just mad fires, yo. So that's why when you see me out here nowadays and I'm always smiling and trying to have good
Living
energy,
it up.
it's because I'm so fucking happy to still be here, yo. And I don't take that for granted every
Yeah,
day
for
that I
sure.
wake up. Every day we go outside now. The first day of school, it was a mass shooting. Like, this different out here. So when people are like, oh, you about to be 50? Hell yeah, son. Yes, I am. And I'm proud of it. And you're lucky if you get to touch 52.
That's right. That's right. Go ahead. I hear you over here preaching for him.
Pastor Meeshach.
Pastor,
Wow.
go ahead, Pastor.
As I sip on this Hennessy.
What part of Jamaica? I don't know if I caught that. What part of
My
Jamaica are you?
father lives in Spanish Town. My parents, they were originally from Kingston. It's a place called Haney Park. Um, and Kingston was like, my mom's is rough, son. Like I see my mom's is the type, she run outside barefoot, like Jamaican style in the streets of the Bronx. Like her feet is made of Timberland sole. Like I don't even know how that works. But she grew
Moms,
up,
if you seeing this.
yeah, I keep it a G. I see my mom's climb trees and all types of.
Oh,
Man, I'll
wow.
never forget back in the day in Brooklyn. I saw this dude was climbing a tree and doing something, and the cutlass fell and landed him and hit my mom's in the head. Like she was bleeding. She wasn't crying. I was going crazy. And she was there like, oh shit. I'm like, ah. So they grew up, my mom's grew up tough, and as a result, she was tough. If you spoke to her now, you would never know it, because I think that she saw how like I was getting as a teenager.
Yeah.
And it calmed her down. So if you talk to her now, she's mad, super calm. Like I be telling my kids, like, don't let that grandma shit fool you, yo. It's not the same lady, yo. That ain't
Like,
the
you
same
don't
lady,
know.
son. That ain't the one I know. Word.
So, question: how far back can you go, like in your ancestry? What's the furthest you know?
On
Not
my
far.
father's side, I stop at my pops. On my
Okay.
mother's side, I know that we originated, Granny came from India originally, then went to Jamaica, and then from Jamaica, they came to the Bronx. So that's the furthest I could go back on my mother's side, like great grandmother's side. And I've actually found out about like the whole India thing. I found that out when I was in India like 5 years ago, because I went to India and I was like, I called my mother on the phone and I was like, I said, Mommy, I feel more connected with the people in India than I
Wow.
do the people of Wilmington, Delaware.
Wow. That's
And
deep.
she was like, well, it would make sense because, Granny came from, and I was like, and I went and did one of those 23andMe's,
Yeah.
and damn sure it came back. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
That's what's up.
you wouldn't believe how much, like 68% is African. Cats is like, no, this is fake news. Like, this ain't it. Right? But after Africa, right? And then, of course, I got the whole Scottish side, but after that was the Indian side. You know what I'm saying? Asian.
Oh.
So if you look at some of like my grandmother and her sisters, they look Chinese, damn near. You know what I'm saying? The Jamaican Chinese, they got that look, that whole Asian look. So that's why you see me. I don't know how I look. I'm just a smorgasbord of cultures over here. Because I know coming up and cats was like, are those freckles? Like, what are you, yo?
We should have had you bring some pictures up.
Yo, I got a bunch of kids. There's one right there. There I go right there. A big ass face.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you can't see it from there. Oh, yeah, you can.
Yeah, I can see it. I can definitely see
Hell yeah.
it.
Yo, there was
So talk.
mothers that used to come to school every day and pinch my cheeks. I only say that because I see the cheeks from here. Like they would come to school just to pinch my cheeks. I used to be like, yo, this is bullshit. Then I just
Oh
realized,
my
like,
god.
yo, your moms love me. That's it. So then it switched.
Mm-mm.
I started loving the moms back. Let me pinch yours back then. Here you go. Anyway, go ahead.
So
Question.
growing up, was you always popular, or did you get picked on a lot? Because I know you were saying like they was talking about your name, but
So it's a combination because you kind of got to get picked on in the Bronx, right? Like you got to go through it to kind of
how
for
tough
people
you
to
are.
realize who you are, right?
Mhm.
That's how you define yourself. So you go through stuff like ups and downs. Like you don't just wake up one day and like, yo, I'm Shaq and cats. Nah, it was I had to go through stuff. So, but was I always popular? Yes, that's
Oh,
a definite fact. Like, and it's
okay.
just the hell, right? Like if you think about it, if you're gonna go
I'm
look
in.
at a class roster and there's 20, 30 names on it, my name stood out. Like you ain't see that shit before. So it's the same reason when I got kicked out of Dell State my freshman year,
Hold on, I didn't know you got kicked out of Del State.
Hell yeah, they kicked me out. The comment that Dr. Motley made was, Meeshach, we've been hearing your name since the second week when you crashed the motorcycle on campus. So the name, the whole everything, it was always, it's hard for me. I promise you, and I don't know who's listening. I get it. Some people might be like, whatever, but you told me we was gonna keep it a G, right? So I'm acting like this is just me and you sitting here talking. And at the end of the day, yo, man, I've been in places where I don't gotta make a sound. I could just sit there quiet or whatever the case may be. And for whatever reason, the way the universe is set up, cats are gonna come to me and be like, yo, who you are? What's your name? Whatever the case may be. So I've always been like that. When I was younger, I used it for whatever. I used my superpowers for nefarious reasons. And I used to just dazzle the girls and shit like that. But then when I realized like I could, as I got older, I could use it for like, and I didn't even realize it then, but like marketing and promotions, and I can use the natural talents that God gave me to generate revenue, then it became something different. But yes, I think some people is just it.
Say something positive in patois. That's how you say it, right?
No, not really.
That's how I always say it. Nobody corrects me.
Because you're a pretty lady. They're gonna say whatever you want to say. They're not gonna correct you. So I'm not something positive. God bless. That's it. Yo, oh, okay. Who job bless no man can curse. Right? So what I just said, who Jah blesses, no man can curse. So yo, whoever God is protecting, Jah is, what Rastafarians call God. And whoever he blesses, that's it, yo. And I've actually lived that whole life. Like,
Yeah, I was about to ask you, would that be one of your mottos?
I think so. I've thought about different things if I was ever gonna put more ink on me and all that. And that was one of the ones that I thought about. You know what I'm saying? Because it definitely has protected me. I do have my Bible verse, you know what I'm saying? It has my name, the whole story. I got that on my back with a cross. That is something that I do regret. I do regret I regret putting a cross on my body. You know what I'm saying? I did it when I was younger. And what I believe now, and like I don't really subject myself to just one religion or ideology. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's some people that tell you if you don't believe in the resurrection of Jesus Christ, you're not going to heaven, and I just don't believe that. I know that there's a higher power because of how I'm protected and how things happen out here in the world, in this universe. But I would not have put a cross on me. You know what I'm saying? But that's not to say I don't believe.
Take it off. You can take it
Nah,
off.
we doing that shit. Hell no. But yeah, for real, covered up. But that's not to say I don't believe in what
Spiritual.
yeah, spiritual. I'm just and I'm more spiritual than religious. And I just believe no matter what the religion, I believe in the golden rule, right? So just treat others how you want to be treated.
Right.
If more of us did that, it wouldn't matter what religion we were. It wouldn't matter what race, color, or creed. It would be just such a better place.
For sure. So if there's a question I was about to ask you. If what do you want your legacy to be, basically?
Excellence.
Excellent.
Legacy to be excellence. Like, nah, I take that back. When it's all said and done, I just want to be known as a good father, husband, friend, and person, right? Because at the end of the day, I think a lot of people be like, oh, I want to be this and I want to be rich and I want to do this. When I was young, I used to be like, yo, I'm going to do this and I'll be driving this car and I'm going to be doing this. And then reality hit. And then I had children and I realized what was really important out here in this world. So when I leave, I just want people to say, yo, he was just a great man. Like, that's it. It's that simple. I don't need, he had mad money. He was paid. I don't need none of that. I want, he was just a good guy. And he just put positive energy and vibrations. Like, we're only here for a short period of time, yo. For people that think, oh, that person's 100 years old, that's just a blip on the radar. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, you're going to be gone fast. And the only thing that is going to be left is your legacy.
Right.
So you have to protect that. I don't want to be out here just running around and wilding. When I leave, people like, yo, he was out of control. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want people to know me as a family man. You know what I'm saying? As a proud HBCU alumnus. You know what I'm saying? And if they come around and be like, oh, he was a great businessman and he did all that, that's cool too. But that's at the end of the spectrum for me.
Yeah. Let's get kind of into that. So you briefly told me that you got kicked out of Del State. Yeah. So how'd you get back in?
Since I didn't do anything illegal, they were forced. Like my mom's actually had to contact a lawyer. Like I got kicked out. They said that we was like, when I walked in, I'm like, yo, I was laughing like, yo, what's the problem? They're like, oh no, you a gang. It was like big. It was like in the newspapers and stuff. And I was the only freshman, right? That was caught up in the whole thing. And it was once again, the whole me always being in the mix. It's not that I was doing bad shit, but when I got to Del State, that workload was too easy for me. Coming from my high school where I was learning Latin and physics as a freshman in high school,
yeah.
Coming to Del State, it was like, come on, bro. I'm gonna get do this and be right outside. Like I don't gotta blink. So as a result, I was in the mix. My second week on campus, I had never ridden a motorcycle in my life. A dude pulled up on a brand new red motorcycle, and I was like, yo, let me ride. And he was like, all right.
You crashed it.
I crashed that shit right over there in front of Tubman. The tour, I'm talking about. Now I'm scared. I don't went from just riding. I don't know if you know motorcycles, but I'm just in the first gear, revving it. Vroom, vroom, vroom. I get over to where the girl doing. I see girls out the window. It's nice. I said, oh, that's it. I got on some shorts. Now I'm riding the motorcycle on the sidewalk. I don't know what happened, and that shit went down. And now I'm so scared. I don't know what to do. That my hand is on the throttle, so my knees on the ground, and the motorcycle is spinning. And I heard a girl say out the window, oh, look, he doing tricks. I said, tricks? I'm about to die out here. If you don't call 911. So yes, that was my second week on campus. I crashed a motorcycle. I was in the mix, but my mom's did threaten to sue the school to let me back in. And off the strength that I didn't do anything illegal or nothing like that, the only thing they could do is say, okay, well, he can't live on campus. And as a result, once again, that just accelerated my whole maturation process, because now I'm 18 years old. I went to college at 17. So now here I am, 18 years old, living off campus with a car. That's not a good equation for somebody if you want to be focused on books and all of that. So yes, I did my bit at Del State, but the good thing that I say about that is I got a whole experience. Like it made me an entrepreneur. Like I learned a lot of stuff, and I learned how Black people really don't be fucking with each other. That's what I really learned at Del State. I learned about the hatred and the jealousy, because coming from the Bronx, there was a melting pot, and I had all these different cultures, and we was always all coming up together. So it wasn't us looking at each other like that, but Del State was different, and they didn't know you where you was from, and now they looking at what you got and all that and all this. And I had the nerve to come out with a car. I had a car and a whip now because I didn't have a choice. I had to live off campus. Next thing you know, 2 years later, I get arrested. They take that car. People don't even know. They take the car from me, so now I get a new one, but now I get an MPV in the 90s, which is like Wu-Tang shit. Like, I'm talking with the rims on it. When I pulled up, and because I got arrested and I didn't have a car that summer, I was working out. I was walking. I was playing ball all day. I worked at a summer camp, so I lost 50 pounds that summer. So now I pull back on campus. Brand new MVP. I'm like this. I'm feeling good. You know what they said about me? They said, yo, the rumor went around that I was smoking crack.
What?
And then that I had the monster. Like there was people who started that rumor back in Del State because I lost weight and all that. I said, first off, don't no crackheads drive no brand new MPVs or Momos and all that. I don't know how that works. And with the monster shit, and it's so crazy because you can allow people to make you feel some way about yourself, that I actually put weight back on. Because I didn't want people to be like, yo, he got AIDS. Look how slim he got. And back in the 90s, you started losing weight. That was cats like, oh no, He's out of here. So yes, so that was another one of those through the fire moments for me, like that I had to get through. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't allow it for me to hate Del Status. I just knew what it was.
Dude,
And
you
we
got
got
some
about 5 more
stories.
minutes. We got
You
about 5 more minutes. So you
you
got
got some stories.
we ain't even started with stories. I just told my band story on Instagram.
Oh my God.
I just told my band story. Cats don't even know I was the original Nick Cannon on drumline before that movie even came out.
Are you a drummer?
I'm a drummer. Yeah, that's I got rhythm. That's why the whole music thing, the whole ladies love R&B and the whole everything. That's because it's just an energy and a vibration that's in me. Like at the end of the day, hip hop came from my island. Hip hop came from Jamaica. If it wasn't for Kool Herc and all of that, there would be no hip hop and all that. The island of Jamaica, although I wasn't born there, it's my bloodline. And we are about energy and vibrations and movement. If you put on a beat, it's very rare Jamaicans you're gonna see doing this.
Just sitting there.
You're gonna see this. Next thing you know, a minute they like this with it. So,
Facts.
so I played the drums and I did my freshman year. I saw them doing the band. I had never seen anything like that in my life. And I went and they actually put me on it. Like it wasn't even supposed to happen. And I got to be on it in the band. Like, and then yeah, so I got a full experience, man. I've done a lot of things. I'm blessed. I'm thankful. You know what I mean? So that's why you see why I still rep. I was just there today. You know what I'm saying? At Del State. I won't be doing my annual tailgating party, but I will be out there capturing content in partnership with the university just to show the alumni experience at HBCU homecoming. So before we do get off, and I know we've been talking all about me, I definitely still got to shout out all the brands that I'm working with that's holding me down.
For sure. Talk about it.
Starting off with Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Delaware, which I am the brand ambassador. Once again, I always appreciate them aligning their brand with me. All of the other brands that I'm out here repping, for those that was at Glochella just 2 weeks ago, I was the host. I rep that HBCU week, which is the biggest HBCU brand now in the nation, and it's based out of Delaware. This week is HBCU week. You can catch me at the block party on Saturday as the host in front of Deco Wilmington. Me and Tanny Speaks. And then actually that next Sunday, I won't be at the Battle of the Bands repping my whole old school band drumline, because I will be the host of the Master of Ceremonies for the 60th anniversary celebration of Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Delaware. Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Delaware is the longest running mentoring program in the state of Delaware. We're celebrating 60 years. And for me, like we talked about, coming from a single parent household, I understand the importance of positive leadership, mentorship, and guidance. So that's why I align my brand with theirs and all the other brands that I work with. So allhiphop.com, they got their summit coming up. You'll see me hosting that. True Access Capital's annual meeting, I'll be there. A bunch of other stuff that, oh snap, I got to return an email that you're going to see.
Moving and shaking.
That's it, man. I got to. I don't got, my man once said, if you are an entrepreneur, every day that you don't make money, you unemployed. So I got to hustle.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah. So I appreciate you coming on. Can you let people know where they can reach you at?
Yeah. Catch me on these streets. I'm outside. No, I'm playing. They can find me on all social media platforms, Radio Shack. That's with an H. I'm not the electric company or whatever they were. They out of business. We going up. Radio Shack with an H on all social media platforms, mainly Instagram. I know I said I'll be 50 next year, but Facebook is way too old for the kid, yo. Just catch me on the gram. That's where I be at, telling my stories, enjoying living life, letting people know about all this good energy that we got going on in Delaware, Bronx, and anywhere else that I'm at.
For sure. And he is actually featured on one of my comic books, HBCU edition, Blue Tulip. So go ahead and cop that from Amazon.
I'm a superhero.
Yeah, he is a superhero in there. And there will be a part 2, but I'm not going to let you know about that one.
I got to go in the multiverse and save that too. You know what I mean? Hey, man, I appreciate you, yo.
No problem. Thank you. I appreciate you for even coming on and telling us about your story. I feel like I know you a little better now.
You know, so when you see me in the street, you're like, oh, that's why he be acting crazy. Nah,
Fact. So catch him at any one
no,
of
what
those
you mean
events that he
facts?
just
I
mentioned.
don't be acting crazy. You talking about facts. Get out of here.
How
I'm
you
sorry.
gonna catch that?
Yeah, you like facts. Yeah, whatever. Go ahead, yo. I'm sorry.
Have a good one. I
Well,
appreciate you.
thank you, man. I appreciate you. Good evening.
Adios.
Have a good night, everybody.